Hey guys, it's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, going over something that somebody's been asking for a long time, quite a few. I almost forgot, and it was just so hard to get my Nekroz back. People have been asking me to update the deck. It's been almost a year. It's been like 9 or 10 months since I last did a Nekroz deck profile. It is, obviously it's ritual, so it falls in the category of favorites. That's my favorite summoning mechanic. But I sold my Nekroz core when it was up. I really needed the money. I had lost my job at Denny's and I was like broke. So I started selling decks and I regretted it later because people were like, can I see a deck profile? And I was like, see man, this is what I'm talking about. But I picked up the core again. Shout out to Zach and Team Lockdown because they're pretty much the reason why I was able to get it back. So it's really interesting how it has evolved to what it is. You know, it's not as good as it used to be, but it's still a very, very good deck. It's decent. And it does a good job dealing with extra deck heavy, extra deck heavy strategies. Like if your deck relies on an extra deck, this more or less punishes you for doing so. So we're going to hop right into the main deck without further ado. Starting off with the monsters, of course, we're playing 2 copies of Valk. I unfortunately was not able to get 3 because I actually do like maximizing on this card. It's a really, really great card. It's the only Nekroz that is like always going to stay relevant. It's always going to stay in its price range, like I think for eternity. It's an amazing card. I really would be playing 3 Valk if I could. But nonetheless, continue with the monsters. We're playing 2 Klaus. This is another card. The only 3 ofs for Nekroz that I would ever play are 3 Valk and 3 Klaus. I was only able to get 2 Valk and 2 Klaus from Zach, but the deck is still playable with 2 of each. They are amazing. Klaus is so good dropping first turn. Because there are decks that rely on the extra deck, like I said, he's pretty much just Fiendish Chain on legs, more or less. And it's kind of like, it's better because he makes the attack 0. It does target, so it has that much of a weakness. And of course, you can pitch him to search your Nekroz spells, which is going to be your mirrors, you know, your rituals. Valk, he's just draw power. You contribute any number, up to 2. I'm sorry, not any number. You contribute up to 2 monsters from your hand or your field to draw that same number of cards. And then he's a battle trap. You can pitch him, banish a Nekroz mirror from your graveyard, and then in the battle phase. So he's really, really cool. And then continue with the 1-of Nekroz. We have 1 copy of Trishula. Nekroz or Trishula is arguably weaker. In fact, not even arguably. He is weaker than the OG Trishula because your opponent has to have cards everywhere for you to resolve him. They have to have a card in grave. They have to have a card in hand. They have to have a card on field. The easier one is on field, but the grave and the hand, that's not always going to be relevant. So you can never first turn Trish your opponent unless they somehow like special summon a monster like Gamma and put a hand trap in the grave, and then you can Trish them. It's more or less like pushing through the boards when you're going second. His hand trap effect is relevant. He protects you from targeting. So Trish is still a phenomenal card. I just don't see myself playing more than 1. He can still be recycled and summoned from the graveyard off of Nekroz cycle. 1 Gungnir. Gungnir is like the baby Dryden of the deck. Gungnir is what lets you play on your opponent's turn. If I open up right, I'm going to Kaleidoscope, drop Clausolis and Gungnir off of pitching a level 10 from my extra deck and just use control off of them. Just go pop, effect to negate. It lets you play on your opponent's turn a lot more. And in addition to the Gungnir, we're playing the 1 Brio. Brio is that one for a reason, y'all. If we had 3 Brio and 3 Klaus, I'm sorry, not 3 Klaus, 3 copies of Shirit, the deck might be... It might be more hyped. It wouldn't be necessarily like good enough to beat everything because it's still going to do the same job just a lot more consistently than it can do now, which is, you know, fine. It punishes extra deck monsters, but it will be more popular than it is now. People still might be running it at regionals and stuff like that. But Brio is amazing. He does push through those extra deck heavy boards like in the BA matchup, which is still going to be relevant, especially because BAs are getting a Link monster. You just bounce the Dantes, bounce the Beatrice. It doesn't even care. He just doesn't care, and his best effect is obviously just to pitch him to search. Every Nekroz ritual monster has an ability when you discard it from your hand. I explained Valks in the battle phase. I explained how search the mirror. He searches. He protects your Nekroz from being targeted. She protects your Nekroz from being destroyed by battle or card effects. Then you have the Unicorn that's at 1 as well for a reason. Unicorn is probably still to this day one of my favorite Nekroz. Not just the way you summon him. There was a really, really cool play with him. Where you just go for him, you know, dump the Herald and then go for Emerald. And it was like it would enable you to get basically a free body on field and then continue with your pushing. And it also helps you to load your grave You can do the Vault combo. You can go Emerald and then draw, and then Vault, tribute, tribute, draw, and you control none. Then you banish your mirrors and then go off again. It's really, really cool. And the Unicorn obviously has a discard effect where you can add any Nekroz card from your graveyard to your hand. And then this might catch people off guard. I'm playing one Sophia. I'm playing Sophia because my deck doesn't play hand traps. I just couldn't really find the space without taking out cards that I really, really love and like. So if I ever was to play this deck competitively, I would definitely cut cards that I love or like for cards that I need. But since we're not really playing this at a regionals or YCS level event, we're just playing it for fun. I'm playing Sophia because her hand trap ability lets you discard her from hand and any Nekroz spell. And it's during either player's main phase 1. And for that phase, the turn player cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So if you open up with the way to search her in the middle of your combo or towards the end, whether it's Brio, however you want to do it, she's a spellcaster. You can search her off of your Sage. You could pretty much just make so that your opponent cannot OTK you with extra deck monsters, because they would basically, during the main phase 1, they can't special from extra deck, so they would just have to do with what they have. Transition to battle phase, and then go main phase 2, and then special from the extra deck. And you can still deal with it with cards like Gungnir, Klaus. There's a way that you can lock your opponent out just with the Sophia. She's a really, really nice card. It's such a rare occasion when you're ever able to ritual summon her, but when you do, you banish everything. Field, graveyard, it's crazy. I think it's even from the hand, but she's not as strong as the OG Sophia. Yeah, it's the ritual effect. You ritual summon her by tributing 3 monsters you control a different type. She can't be summoned any other ways. And when she's ritual summoned, you banish all other cards on the field and in the graveyards. You cannot summon any other monsters or set the turn you resolve that. But you shouldn't have to, because you clear the entire field with her and the graveyard. She's an amazing card. Just a one of. This is Nekroz Gishki. Surprise, surprise. I should have told you in the beginning of the title. But I'm only playing 2 Gishki monsters, the ones that matter to me, to make this deck semi-competitive. I could be, breaking a little bit on the Zeal Gigas just to try to draw more, but the deck is pretty consistent on that end. We don't really need draw power. We just need more ways to summon these guys successfully without expending a lot of resources. So Gishki, Shadow, and Vision are your go-to cards. And to maximize on the value of those cards, I'm also playing targets to search out on them. Gust Kraken, when it's ritual summon, can look it up to 2 cards in your opponent's hand and shuffle one of those cards in the deck. It gives you the knowledge of what you're playing going first, so you know how to side deck. And then also Mind August, when it's ritual summon, can target up to 5 cards in either player's graveyards and shuffle those into the deck, not the main deck, just the deck. So it recycles extra deck cards, regular. It recycles spells like Upstart, just for example, traps like Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, Moray of Greed, Salvage, Preparation of Rites. It recycles any card, so it's an amazing monster. These are on the ban list at 1 for a reason. And that's going to conclude the blue cards. It's a lot. And then for the Jews, we're playing 3 copies of Handy Manny, my helping hand. This guy is one of my favorite monsters because I love ritual decks. We're also playing 2 copies of Sandy. Sinju's not as good. It's just because it's not as versatile as Manju. Manju searches both, whereas Sinju's limited to just 1. Only searching the ritual monsters, where Manju, like I said, he searches ritual spell or monster. And at the same time, I don't want to open up with 2 of these in hand, so I was like, we need to cut at least 1, but play a ratio that's proper so that you can see these enough. So just the 5 Jews. And then for the Spice, we're playing 3 copies of Gishki Shadow and also 3 copies of Gishki Vision. These cards are really, really powerful. They help the deck out a lot. There's some 1-card comebacks off of this. So this monster can discard itself to add a Gishki ritual spell from your deck to your hand. And also both of them can be treated as the entire tribute for the ritual summon of a water ritual monster. In addition to that, Vision can discard himself from the hand to the graveyard to add a Gishki ritual monster from deck to hand. So they act as similar to Brionic, Unicorn, Clausulus, all the blue cards. You pitch them and do stuff. So you do a lot of discarding with this deck. But their best effects are not to search out your Gishki engine, which basically this is for going first, raping your opponent's hand, and this is for going, in the middle of the game, like recycling your resources. But you can trish somebody by just tributing this card and just trish them. It's like the substitute for Shurit, the strategist of the Nekroz, basically. There's even some cool comebacks where you control no cards, and you top deck a card like Vision or Shadow. Then you use your Nekroz ritual spells. You banish them in a Nekroz monster, search out Cycle, then you play Cycle, and this is just off 1 card. You play Cycle, you tribute this, and you revive Trishula, Valk, Klaus, any Necro monster just off of that one card. It's really, really insane. So they're some of the best cards to top deck also. They're really, really powerful. And then 1 copy of Great Sorcerer of the Nekroz, and also 1 Dance Princess. I don't have the aerial monster, but I still feel like she's not that good, even though she's the entire tribute. It's just she searches for only these and not the blue cards, and I would have to play a build that was catered more to the actual Nekroz and not the ritual monsters, and I don't really like that too much. But Ariel's a good card. If I had her, I might play 1 or 2 of her because she is, you know, the entire tribute like these monsters. But that's going to sum up the monster count. It's a lot of monsters, bro. That's something I noticed. Ritual decks have to play a lot of monsters. They have no choice because you got to tribute monsters to ritual summon. The spells are as follows. I play 2 of each mirror. I like all of them. Honestly, I can't say one's better than the other because situations arise where this seems better, this seems better, this seems better. That's why I was like, I'd rather play 2 of each because I don't want to see too many of one, but I want to see each one of them in equivalence, if it makes sense. Mid to late game, this is the best card in your hand. When you're like running low on resources, when you've already ritual summoned once, this is your go-to because you could just banish the fodder from your graveyard. And this is just insane. When you have like multiple rituals you're trying to drop, Kaleidoscope is your go-to. I just don't see like how I can play one of them at 1. I just like them all at multiples, but I think 3 is a little bit too much for any of them. I used to play 3 Kaleidos, then you can play 3 Cycles, you can play 3 Mirrors. Mirror is honestly sometimes, or more or less 60% of the time, my favorite mirror. Just because my favorite ritual spell for the Nekroz because of how you could just play it and then ritual summon that 1 ritual monster from your hand by banishing from grave. So no other resources. Same thing with Kaleidoscope. You could just play it, you know, pitch from extra deck, ritual summon from hand. And the same thing goes with this. It just depends on the situation. You can just play it and just, you know, ritual summon from your graveyard. So when you play this and dump, you know, your vision or shadow, like more or less, I guess all of these can just be 2-card combos where you ritual summon just with 2 cards. Really, really nice, powerful spells. And then 1 Gishi Aqua Mirror, just 1. It recycles itself back into the main deck endlessly, so you only need 1. So you play 7 ritual spells. And then for the cards that help you a lot in the middle of your combos, 3 Moray and 2 Salvage. Salvage is really good with adding vision and shadow back. You can also add your Clausulus back, which is just food for thought. Moray of Greed helps you when you draw too many ritual monsters and no ritual spells. It really does help you out a lot. 2 copies of Prep just to get you to your Gishkis and also your Clausulus, your Brio, your Unicorn a lot faster. And 2 copies of Pot of Desires because this deck needs a +1 desperately. When you ritual summon 1 time, you're already like so low on resources. You just have to. That sums up the main deck. It's exactly 40 cards. I guess I could take something out and play an Upstart if I want to make it smaller, but I don't really need to. For the extra deck, I do need a Quasar and a level 11 target like Star Eater, but for my Kaleido targets, I'm playing the level 12. I'm playing the level 10, a level 9, a level 7, and a level 4. What I need is actually a level 11, so we can have 12, 11, 10, 9. 8 doesn't really come up. You can't use an 8 for anything. It would have to be, if you're playing the Nekroz of Catastor, which I have all my extra Nekroz stuff right here. If you're playing like Nekroz of Catastor, you can do the level 8 where you summon him in Clausulus, but I still feel like that's not that good. It's really not. So yeah, these are the targets for Kaleido. This is obviously for your Unicorn play. Yeah. Never really summoned them though. Double Toe, Bahamut Shark, the Utopia package, Gorgon, Castel, Mistar Boy, he comes up sometimes. And also when you make Mistar Boy, for some reason, you're always able to make bigger links after that. So I'll play Firewall and Decode. Obviously, Firewall, you're just going to put Decode under him if you ever want to. But for the most part, I don't even use Firewall to bounce or to co-link. I actually use him to just special summon monsters from my hand. Like, I'll normal a Manju, like, right here in his column, and then tribute the Manju for ritual summon, and then use Firewall, and then special summon something else from hand. It's really, really cool. And the Firewall actually helps you to make another rank 4. Like, I've used Firewall to actually make Bahamut Shark just by special summoning 2 shadows from hand, and then, you know, you go into him, and then it's really, really cool how you can do it. Like, you go into him, and then you can link, again, like, using the Firewall and the ritual monster or whatever you want, and you can just go into, like, a generic link too. Like, I don't have it right now. I'm linking my proxy. Like, you can go into a generic link 2, then you link again, go into Decode, then you use his effect, summon it out. But yeah, the extra deck is totally incomplete right now. I really borrowed a lot of cards from this deck and from other decks. So what's missing is actually my Proxy Dragon. I'm missing a couple links. I'm mixing Proxy Dragon and Binary Sorceress. And I think it was another link 3 that I was trying to do. But yeah, in order to do that, you need the other cards that I'm supposed to be playing in my extra deck. And I put in a Toad as a filler for right now. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the deck profile, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is definitely fulfilling a deck request that has been long overdue. So to my viewers that have been asking for a Nekroz deck profile, this is for you, man. And I'm sorry that it took so long. But no matter what, I always do deliver. Not once do I not deliver. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. And stay tuned for future content. Peace. I'm out.